Hello everyone. This is the first part of the random collage journal. It is the basic part. I've done a few of them because I've been trying to do videos. It's just the basic first layer of the collage. And I am working in signatures. So I'm going to show you how I put my signature together. I am using just regular typing paper. This is 20-pound copy paper. I'm using 4 pieces, 4 whole pieces. It's not very thick stuff, but after you get collage and all kinds of layers of stuff on, it gets to be, the pages are pretty thick, pretty nice. I don't usually fold all of them together. It does cause a bit of creep, but this is no stress, no worry, easy, fun, and just doing them all together is faster. So I take a length of, I'm just using regular thread. I just want my pages together as I'm working on them so that when I sew them in the book, they look like the pages, the spreads belong together. And I'm just doing 2 lengths with a little bit of thread. And I am not measuring where I am sewing this together. Like I said, I'm just tacking them together so that when I work in them, the spreads are together. Nothing serious, nothing. What I've been doing is I'm leaving the thread in when I sew it into the other book, so it doesn't really matter where they go. So you need 3 holes, 1 in the center. I'm just going to thread it through, hang on to my tail because I don't want the tail to go through. This is the 3-hole pamphlet stitch. I'm going to make my hole, and then I'm going to come in through the back. It's easier to make your hole through the ditch, the canyon of the ditch, rather than the back way. So that's just why I made the hole that way. And then my eyesight is not like it used to be, so I gotta take a better look at that. And then I am going down to the bottom, and I'm doing about 3/4 of an inch from the edge of the paper. And then I am going back through the center hole that already has a thread in it and coming up through the same hole, or one like it. So I've got a thread that goes from the top to the bottom, and I've got a tail on one side of that thread and a tail on the other side of that thread. So I don't need the needle anymore. I kind of pull tight, make sure my string is tight but not buckling the paper. And then I just make a knot over that thread that goes from top to bottom, making a knot over that. That is a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. And I'm going to cut off those threads, and there is a signature that we'll work in, just like that. I like working in the signatures. That way when I'm working on the page, it looks like they were made together. And it's easier not to fight the book working in the signatures. So what I'm using for the bottom part of this collage are magazine papers, painted papers. I've got some book pages, some that are stamped, some that are plain, some that have stenciling on them. I'm using security envelopes, the patterns on security envelopes, and I am using bits of scrapbook paper. I have been trying to do this a few times. This is my 3rd try trying to get this done. Things are going wrong. So some of it is chopped up, but you need large pieces. Large pieces cover a lot of space, and I will talk about the kinds of things. I'm trying to get them in a place where I can get to everything and see everything. I will talk about them as I go, just to save some time. I'm using glue stick. You can use matte medium, whatever you are more comfortable with is great. I like the dryness of a glue stick. So we want large-ish pieces, and I do tear, reckless abandon, tear away. Make it random, make it easy, don't think too much about it. I do like torn edges on the center of the page. I like straight edges in the corners and the outsides. For this first layer, I am more concerned about getting stuff on the edges of the paper more than the center of the paper. You can always add stuff later to the center, and I'm going to use my t-shirt piece to make sure everything gets glued down really well. And I want to use random bits of stuff, so that is a book page. I'm going to go for a little bit of this security envelope, and I am going to rip that white bit off. I really don't want that. And I am going to put it on the side here because that seems like a great place. I don't want it too big though, so that's what I'm going to do. I do like to put straight edges on the edges of the pages, but I have been putting a little bit of ragged edges on the edges as well. I'm kind of liking the way that looks. I didn't do that in the first book, but I'm kind of seeing how it goes with the second one here. It's a little messy, but kind of fun looking to see the edges that are kind of raggedy, and I'm trying to get over being a perfectionist. I am recovering, so that is just one of those ways that I am trying. I don't like all these straight edges here. I don't know what I use that for. I'm just going to randomly cut that like that and put that on. I'm not thinking about where I'm putting stuff. I really am just trying to put stuff down. I'm not worried about white spaces. Mostly what I'm concerned about is I want torn edges in the center, and I've got plenty on that page. I'm going to go on to the second one. I've already got glue all over myself. I'm not worried about color too much. I tend to worry too much about that. I'm trying not to think about it. I like magazine pages that have bits of color, that have bits of background. I'm looking for non-focal points. I'm looking for things that do not catch my eye. I don't see anything else on there. Maybe a little bit of that. I might be able to use that. But I'm looking for pieces. I like trees and things that are out of focus. For this one, I would like the windows here, the trees on this side. I like this bridge here. I like those things. And that's what I'm looking for this bottom layer, is things that don't really have something to look at. They're just random little bits that have some interest, maybe some color, maybe some shapes, lines, trees, non-focused kind of things. It's a background. I don't really want it to be competing with things that I'm going to be putting on top of it. It's just something to get down the first layer. So I am trying to put straight edges with straight edges, and I didn't cut that very straight, so let me get that to the edge a little bit. I like having the torn edges in the center. That's not very straight, but I'm not going to worry about it too much. I like having the torn edges in the center because it blends the page a little bit better. If you have torn bits in the center, it does tend to make it look like the stuff belongs together. When you have a lot of straight edges on a page, it kind of looks like things are separated for no reason. I'm going to cut that off because that's a little bit too much hanging over. There we go. A little bit more stuff. Let's do some scrapbook paper. Not sure what to tear. I want the pieces fairly large. I want to cover areas fairly, quite a bit of the area. And I'm trying not to think about it too much, but I tend to think way too much. So I'm trying to go as fast as I can, just get the bottom layer covered. And I am really tearing these pieces up really randomly, and you will have a lot of white space in the center. I might go for one of these trees. Let me see if I can tear out the background just a little bit, and that worked really well. So let me glue that down. Put my painted papers on one side so I can get stuff. I don't really want that many choices when I'm doing this. I tend to like it a little bit better when I limit myself. And I think I've got way too much stuff out here. But I am just going to work with it. Try to get it done. Some book page. I don't have enough. Oh, I've got some book page right there. Let's get that off. I don't want that straight edge there, so I'm just going to rip that and put that on. And I am leaving, like I said, I am leaving little bits of white spaces. I am not making sure that I kind of messed up my page there. It's going to be bent. It's not straight. And it should be fine though. I am not really worried about these spots. I want to have those kinds of spots because that gives me places to add stuff later in areas. I'm using junk mail that I have been painting over, just junk mail and flyers and menus and all kinds of stuff. So it's kind of a junk journal because that's the kind of stuff that I'm using. I'm trying to use stuff up. I've got a lot of stuff. Just trying to use stuff up. Now I may just leave that huge area there. I would have to put another picture on top of that. Do I have a small-ish piece that I could put something on top? Maybe a little bit of plain book paper. Tearing off those edges just to have some edges that aren't straight. Straight edges in the middle of a page are very distracting to me. Don't like them a lot. So I'm just going to put that in the middle. Make sure I got it all well down. All the pieces of paper are connecting to other pieces of paper, and that's good enough. So I'm just going to go on to the next page. Some scrapbook paper, I think, this time. Got some pieces down here, some new ones. I am trying to use stuff up, but I came across a sale and Really like those circles. I need a new page here. I'm trying not to worry too much about color. I'm trying to just not think about it. It's a relaxing when I'm not trying to go as fast as I possibly can to make this video short. It is a relaxing, non-thinking, kind of fun way to do the bottom part of this collage. I really liked this brick wall here. Like that a lot. Don't really like all these people. I am intrigued with this guy in the center though. I'm thinking I kind of want to see if I can get a bit of him. And I did. Controlled tear. Don't really need that. Oh, I like that a lot. And I am going to, actually, he would be great on this side. I already got a piece of paper on that side because these are straight. So I'm going to add him to the next page. I didn't rip enough off the edge there, so I'm just going to rip a little bit more. Just so my ditch doesn't get too full of stuff. I don't want my gutter to be too full. I've got some scrapbook paper that I didn't really like, so I added some paint to it. I just scraped some random bits of paint. And I'm going to add that to the bottom. It was an ugly brownish, grayish, I don't even know what kind of color. It wasn't really a color. So I added a little color just because I didn't like it. I like it a little bit better now that it's got color to it. Trying to get those to the bottom. Oh well, I messed that up. I'm going to get that right there. Really like him. Try to get this to the edges. I should remember to go over the edges a little bit. It's better to go over than not far enough. That's kind of cool. I kind of like him. That's some book page that is stamped. I've got a variety of stuff. I did say I've got some book pages, some of them plain, some of them stamped and stenciled, some of them have paint on them. I've got security envelopes, and I probably should add some of that. I'm going to go off the edge a little bit just so I know it's all there. And like I said, I've got torn edges in the center because I like the way that looks a lot better. And I am going to rip the white bits off. That envelope was closed, so I got a double layer here. Let's see if I can get that off. That little bit of white off of there. That's kind of neat. I like that. And all I'm trying to do is really just put a base coat of stuff on the bottom. Not worried about little bits of white that are going to show through. That will give me places to add stuff later. So I'm really liking that. I really am trying not to pay too much attention to color, but it does seem like I do pay too much attention to color. I think I might add stuff to this later, and I did skip a page, 2 pages. I skipped 2 pages. So more book page. Here's a piece of junk something that I'm trying to get used to my handwriting. So I randomly wrote, I got a piece of book page like that, and I randomly wrote what was on the book page. Really kind of scribbled it, paying no attention to what I was writing. I don't think I wrote full sentences. didn't care if I was spelling anything correctly or not correctly. I just am trying to get used to my writing. So I should really put that part of that in there. And I'll do that now, trying to get used to my writing. And so I'm going to put stuff on top of it so I can't read what I scribbled on there and all that good stuff. And I will deal with all that later. We'll put that there. In this part, I really am just trying to work as fast as I can without thinking. Just putting stuff down. Uh-oh, that's too wide. It's too wide. I got glue on it, so I'm just going to put it there so I don't waste all that glue. I need some book page on here. Get these white edges off. Just like that. Thinking I need painted paper more than I need that. So I'm going to put the painted paper, piece of junk mail that I painted. And it's just a bunch of stuff trying to get rid of. Uh-oh, I've just lost my glue. Just some random, really random stuff. Another piece of junk that I want torn edges on. So I am randomly tearing, really not caring what size I've got. And I will worry about those white bits, like this one right here. I will worry about those later. That's an interesting little bit right there. I might as well glue that little bit in now, since it's got the straight edge in the right place. Just like that. Maybe a little one on the top. I don't usually put the little bits in. Just had to this time, I guess. All right. So that's plenty for that one. And I missed a page here, so let me put some security envelope. Actually, I've got this piece of magazine. It's got some really cool little blue stripes on it. See if I can get a piece of that. Get that glued down. I'm making a terrible mess here. I did turn off the autofocus, so everything should be focused, semi-focused. I hope you can see what's going on here. Putting that straight edge on the top, glue there, on the top there, smooch it all down. I need some more. What do we have? Random magazine wise. I love this doorway, this half a doorway here. I've got glue on my hands. I need to get some glue off my hands before I start sticking to stuff. Trying not to make this too long, but I kind of want you to see the whole process here. I like this door, so I'm going to do a random tear that off. I also like this cement little bit here, so I'll save that for later. And I like it here. And I want that part right there. So I think I need to turn a page here. I'll glue that whole great big thing down. Because it'll go faster. I'm putting that straight edge on the straight edge, and I've got torn edges in the center, which is perfect. So I need some more stuff over here. Here I've got a painted menu. Get some stenciling on that I kind of like. So I'll glue that down. Straight edges on straight edges. I do like to use my t-shirt and make sure the glue is sticking one piece of paper to the other piece of paper. Just when I get layers on there, I want to make sure that the bottom layer is pretty well secured. Here's a piece of stenciled bit that's kind of crazy and got a lot of color to it. I'm going to put that down here in the bottom randomly. You can add tissue paper as well. You can also add it in the next layer. I think I'm going to add that tissue paper right there just for some color. The next layer are medium and smallish bits. So that's why you don't have to worry too much about the white edges that you're leaving, because that'll give you places that you're going to want to cover later. So that makes that easy not to have to decide where to put stuff. I'm going to put that book page right there. Right there. And I got plenty of stuff on there now. I am going to turn the page. I have my baby wipe. My fingers are getting really bad. And that one looks pretty good. I'm just going to leave that for now. We're almost getting there. Let's see. I've got this great bit of color. I got these great trees. I love this tree here and that gate. I like that a lot. It's too big. So I'm going to cut a tear a bit off of that. I'll use that someplace else. But I do like that. And I'm going to put it in the corner there. Another big piece. I might just put the tree over here on this side. I might as well. Not going to think about it, just going to do it. Just going to do it. Which way is it supposed to go? I think it's supposed to go that way. Nope, it's supposed to go the other way. Yep, like that. Let's see here. Kind of want to put the rest of this on here. I'm going to put it down that way. just so it's kind of strange looking. I guess I could put it on this side too. Well, I'll do that later. Let's see, some more painted papers. I like that one. So, some glue on it. Just put it down here. This is a piece of junk mail. Got a little bit of writing on it, not a lot. Some scrapbook paper. I don't have enough scrapbook paper out. Let me add some of that. My cord is getting in my way of my glue. Gonna have to fix that. I don't bring the camera down. I hope I'm not jiggling the camera. Now that I'm realizing what I'm doing over here. Let me put the straight edges on the straight edges. Like that. You know what? I'm just going to put the rest of that up there. Just like that. I want a little bit more over here. Maybe some of this security envelope. Just to have something over there. That seems like it's a little large of a white space. Sorry, my voice is going. But those are good enough white spaces. My voice is really going. Excuse me. Let's see here. I'm going to do this book, scrapbook paper right there. And I know I've said don't worry about color, but I always seem to. I like this blue, so I'm going to use a little bit of that blue. Oh, I don't like it any place. That looks all right right there. I probably should use up that other little bit of blue. On the other side. Right there. I probably should have a straight edge in the center. I'm just going to kind of chop up that little bit right there so it's straight-ish. There we go. And I already used some of that kind of blue. Let's use some book page. I haven't used enough book page. Some of those straight edges off. That in the top there. Want a little bit more. Painted papers would be good. Let's see what I've got. There's some stamped bits, which should be fun right there. No thinking. This really should be relaxing. I'm just trying to hurry a little bit. I am going to rip the top of that so I don't have a straight edge on the top in the center of the page. I need to change my magazine page there. And I am going to use that's kind of an interesting, I might have to use her somewhere in the next stage. I'm just going to use a bit of that. Right there. Straight edges on the corner, so put them right like that. And that's good enough. I do like these little trees here. Kind of like her too. Let's see what we got here. There's a little white spot here at the edge I'm not real fond of. So I'm going to trim it off now. But that might be cool right there with her face peeking in. I don't usually go for something that I can identify at this point, but it will be fun. It'll be fine just to sneak her in. Work with whatever is showing later. I like these little handwritten or hand-drawn trees and stuff. I think those are really cute. She's got some pink on her, so I'm going to use this little bit of pink scrapbook paper right there. Right in the corner. And what else do I have? Bicycles would be fun. I'm going to put bicycles on the other side. I've got this little square corner here. It will work very nicely up here in this corner. That glue, I don't know where my baby wipe went. I swear I had one. Probably getting all kinds of stuff wet underneath my pile of goodies here. Oh, here's an interesting little bit of painted papers. Use that. Some kind of junk mail I painted. Actually, it's kind of got squarish corners there, so I'm going to put it that way. Here's some windows. I like the windows here. So let me see if I can chop that off. Oh, kind of like that too. That's kind of cool. That would be interesting on an edge. We'll put that right there. Just like that. So you can see how it's really random, really fast, non-thinking. Get it down. Don't worry about it too much. The fun part comes next. Trying to cover up some of those places that you left. Just going to put that whole piece right there. just like that. That's a cool little piece right there. I don't have, that's book page. Maybe a little bit of music on the bottom. We'll go back to the other page. You don't want this torn edge in the center. Now that I got glue on it, I'm going to put it like that. So I don't waste all that glue. I'm going to put that piece right there. And that's got plenty of stuff on it. Let me put some of this right there. Just like that. Maybe a little book page. Not thinking, just doing. Like that. Maybe a bit of that over here. And I'm not going to worry about that yet. Maybe I'll put something specifically for that. So I have got a little bit of something on all the pages. I've got lots of white bits left to cover up. And everything is really random. This one's got tons of white bits to cover. Very random. Little bits to deal with in the next part. So that is the first step. And that was really easy, and I hope it didn't take very long. I don't have a timer going, so I'm not sure exactly how long that took. So I will see you for the continuation in the next part. Thanks for watching.